Welcome, everyone, to our Candlewick Holiday House and Peachtree new book preview for both our late summer and fall lists. I'm Terry Borzamato Greenberg, Vice President of School and Library Marketing for our group, and I am thrilled to have our team share with you today a selection of our upcoming books from all of our publishers and imprints. Our imprints are Walker Books UK, MIT Kids Press, and MIT Teen Press from Candlewick, Margaret Ferguson Books and Neil Porter Books, the eponymous imprints of Holiday House, plus our imprint Pixel and Ink, and Peachtree's eponymous imprint, Margaret Quinlan Books. We've got Peachtree Teen, which of course published this year's Prince Honor winning Compound Fracture. Of course, we have lots more titles coming this year, so please visit us on Edelweiss to view our full collection of what you see here today, along with all of our soon-to-be published books. We are so thrilled to have two talented creators with us today to talk about their books. But first, we're going to talk a little bit, or just to have a little call out. We want to celebrate our wonderful ALA award winners this year. We are so proud of our talented authors and illustrators and so honored to have received this amazing recognition for works across our three companies. We are excited to share that we had a total of 39 books that made various award lists this year at the ALA's Youth Media Awards. And I think we see them on the next screen. And you can scan the QR code at the bottom of the slide if you'd like to learn more about each of them. We will, of course, be in Philadelphia in Philadelphia for ALA this summer to celebrate all of these wonderful books and authors, and we hope to see you there. We have another little call out, or kind of a big one. Holiday House celebrates its 90th anniversary this year. We are so proud to be part of this publishing history with classics like 1938's Reluctant Dragon by Kenneth Grahame, with illustrations by Ernest Shepard. And that's where the Holiday House little boy is from, that Reluctant Dragon. Then there's 1945's Big Red by Jim Kelgard, a favorite of mine from my grammar school days, though that was not in the 1940s. Rain Makes Applesauce by Julian Scheer and Marvin Billick from 1964. The Shrinking of Treehorn by Florence Parry Heidi and Edward Gorey, 1971. Now, I could go on and on with more. Caldecott Honors from Trina Shard-Hyman, works from Betty Wren Wright, Newbery medalist Russell Friedman, whom we miss dearly. Tommy DePaola, Holiday House was his first publisher. We miss him too. There's Eric A. Kimmel, David A. Adler. And then we move on into the 21st century with Lisa Klein Ransom and James Ransom, Juji Morales, Jason Chin, and gosh, oh, so many more. We'd like to give a special shout out, thank you to Jason Chin, who created the special 90th anniversary logo for us with the little boy sitting in the date. So next up, we have some wonderful 25th anniversary books from Candlewick Press. I bet none of us here today can believe it's been that long since we first delighted in the antics of the oh-so-popular Judy Moody and were captivated by the inimitable Kate DiCamillo and her beloved Newbery Honor-winning Because of Winn-Dixie. Kate still hears from fans who are so touched by her beautiful book. Now, on to our guest speakers. We are delighted to have as our first guest speaker today, author and illustrator, Aaron Barillaro, or Barillaro, if I got that right.
Thank you. You nailed it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alan. Here is the Academy Award-winning writer and director of the animated short film Piper and has been supervising animator on many other theatrical releases, including The Incredibles, Incredibles 2, Wall-E, and Brave. Alan's debut middle grade novel, Where the Water Takes Us, will be available in paperback this summer, but he is here today to introduce us to his new illustrated novel, Bunns Rabbit, which tells the deeply moving tale of an adorable rabbit who sets out on a quest to save her home and family. Thank you for joining us, Alan. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. See if I can share screen here properly. Great. Everybody seeing that? Well, I mean, I really appreciate the opportunity. This is I'm excited to be here. This is first time I'm talking about Bunns Rabbit, so I'm a little terrified, but a little happy at the same time. And since I come from animation, I can't resist just starting off with a little animation of Bunns. Hopefully it gives you just a feel of the mood and the character and the kind of gentleness of the story that I'm after. Bunns is a different type of rabbit, and I'd like to think that this book is different in its own way. It's 300 illustrations, full color. It goes from prose over to graphic novel. And I saw this as hopefully a bridge or an entry point to chapter books. When I was a kid, I was terrified of, I used to look at the thickness of a chapter book and be kind of intimidated. And I was always kind of measuring the thickness. And also, I really wanted to create a book that we could read together as a family. This is my family, at least 10 years ago, when I started this. And reading before bedtime is a big tradition in my family. And my daughter here is like a chapter book. She's like devouring chapter books at this age. My son in red would rather be read to than read. The one in blue, his twin, is please daddy, no words. I'd love a graphic novel. So I have these different readers, and selfishly I wanted to create something that drew all those readers in, no matter what. And I did, like I said, I did work at Pixar for years, and I love their belief that the goal is to tell stories that your family enjoys. And the hope is that, other families just might enjoy those too. So with that, I'd like to start and talk a little bit about Bunns, and, let's open the book 10 years later and meet Bunns. And here we are, she's in a chapter where she's in the meadow for the first time, and Bunns doesn't know it yet, but she's about to meet a very special monarch. And this monarch will change everything for her. Like, the world will come alive in this moment, and she'll set her off on this adventure. And forgive the animation here. A side note, I was kind of putting this together for classrooms. I thought it'd be fun to have this Winnie the Pooh kind of explanation. So I'm sharing it here and kind of working on it as I go. But back to our story. What starts off as a wonderful day in the meadow turns disastrous for Bunns. Why? Because all these rabbits in the meadow have long ears, except for Bunns. And as her mother assures her, Bunns has perfectly functional ears, but they're short. And that difference is a problem in this world. And Bunns will quickly learn this. Difference is something to avoid. It's something to be really superstitious of. And when things go wrong in the meadow that first day, they go very wrong. And it's her difference that's to blame. And Bunns is immediately considered a bad omen. And that night they're talking about banishing her from the meadow. And Bunns just feels like she has no choice but to run away. And that's what she does. She sets off to find this powerful spirit fox who is said to grant one wish each year to one lucky rabbit. So this can solve all the Bunns' problems. She's off to find the fox and get long ears and find her way back home. But to do so, Bunns will have to travel through a dangerous, unknown world. Of course, there's going to be many challenges. It's a world full of myth and divisive animals that do not have kind intentions for Bunns, like those two blue jays up at the top. But luckily, Bunns meets two wonderful friends that join her on their quest. So there's this hummingbird named Bee, who's forever optimistic, and a very grumpy but extremely brave loonbird named Loon. And I'll spoil everything right now and say these three friends do find their way, to find the fox. Bunns does get her wish, but it comes at a cost she just can't imagine. Bunns loses what's most important to a rabbit, something deep inside of her, call it their heart song. And this is like an inner voice. So Bunns loses her heart song means she'll have to grapple with a profound loss of self. Though she looks like every rabbit now, she never feels quite the same. And to make matters worse, things didn't go exactly as planned. She accidentally turns the powerful spirit fox uncontrollably evil. So as the spirit fox closes in, threatens family, home, it puts everyone in this terrible danger. And Bunns alone is going to have to face the powerful spirit fox. And without giving it all away, I want to kind of hop back to the beginning of the story where the fox first meets Bunns and asks, What guides you, little rabbit, if not your ears? And that's truly at the heart of the story and why I wrote the book. It's, what do we choose to listen to in our lives? Who do we listen to? How does that affect us in the world around us? If Bunns is going to save herself and those she loves, she's going to have to face that and answer those questions. And if she does, I think she will find she's much stronger and more capable than she ever imagined. And of course, that's exactly what I want young readers to think. I want them to feel much stronger, more capable after reading this book. So I'd love to end on a little teaser animation. That's part of a bigger book trailer. It's the first time I'm ever showing this, so I'm super excited to share it, and I hope you like it and the sound works. Thanks so much for the time. I really appreciate it. Hope, Terry, you're on mute.
Thank you, Alan. Thanks so much, Alan. That was just beautiful. I thought I loved the animation of the butterfly on Bun's nose, but this last one, stunning. The music was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing about Bun's. And I know everyone will be so eager for this Bunns Rabbit coming in October. Thank you. Now, I think we are ready for some book presentations from our team. We're going to start off by hearing from Saskia about our board book collection.
Yeah, hi everybody, and thanks again for joining us. My name is Saskia Denbone, School and Library Marketing Assistant, and I'm super excited to kick off our sneak peek of summer and fall 2025 titles with a quick look into 6 of our irresistible board books. Back by popular appeal, we've got Daishu Ma's next adventures in the Ada's World of Fun series, Ada Go 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 and Ada's Rainy Day, both colorful celebrations of friendship that will have little ones guessing who will win the exhilarating scooter race and which puddle will make the biggest and the bestest splash. We can all roll up our sleeves and rejoice because star duo Andrea Zimmerman and Dan Yacarino are bringing their newest books in the Big Jobs Bold Women series to this toddler-friendly format. Kids will love tagging along with Crane Jane and Plumber Pearl as they save the day solving everyday household problems. And next, from the Theodore Seuss Geisel Honor and Pura Belpré Honor-winning creator Joe Cepeda, comes IHOP, Yo Cavo, a bilingual board book treasure about exploring and discovery that is perfect for the toddler who loves digging through the sandbox. And we'll wrap up our board book selection with Helen Yoon's super cute Is This Winter, where a wide-eyed puppy brings the weirdness and wonder back to the winter season. And now over to Sawako for a look at our picture books.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sawako Shioda, Manager of Library Marketing, and I'm delighted to introduce you to some great books coming up this summer and fall. Boar and Hedgehog is a picture book about 2 unlikely friends from award-winning author David Elliott and hilariously illustrated by Newbery Honor winner Eugene Yelchin. All the animals say Boar is too cranky, and when Hedgehog starts suggesting nice places for Boar to live instead of his dark cave, without being asked, might I add, he comes across as a little bit of a know-it-all. But when Hedgehog is in trouble and gets stuck in the hole, Boar is the one to come and save him, despite the fact that they aren't really friends. Or are they? David Elliott's writing is funny and sweet, and Eugene Yelchin's bright and vibrant illustrations bring the story to life in this new hilarious picture book publishing this June.
Hi, my name is Dana Eager, and I am the School and Library Marketing Manager, and I'm so excited you're here to learn all about our new titles. First up here is a new wordless picture book in the Field Trip Adventure series from John Hare. What if your next trip took you millions of years into the past. In Field Trip to Dinosaur Valley, curious students join their science teacher on an unforgettable journey through time to meet friendly dinosaurs and maybe one not so friendly dinosaur. But when it gives chase, luckily the time-traveling school bus saves the student in the nick of time. The book also packs in fascinating facts about paleontology, fossils, and how scientists know what they know about these ancient animals. Look for it this fall.
Interrupting this preview with exciting news. We have a brand new Interrupting Chicken book. The first in the series is the Caldecott Honor, and this time Chicken is off to her very first ballet, The Nutcracker. With plenty of giggles, unexpected stage crashing, and a delightfully meta twist, David Ezra Stein delivers a hilarious holiday romp, perfect for fans of broken fairy tales, laugh-out-loud humor, and fourth-wall-breaking fun.
And now we have children's book author and illustrator Juji Morales, who brings us a rebellious new picture book this fall. Juji Morales is, of course, a Caldecott honoree, 6-time Pura Belle Prix medalist, and creator of magnificent books like Dreamers and Bright Star. In this new beautiful picture book, she draws on Mexican folklore to create a soon-to-be classic about the brave and inspiring little rebels who resist the status quo. Little rebels like to ask lots of questions, like, what color do you feel today? Inspiring discussion among young and older readers. The 3 young rebels depicted in the story are seen playing together in a safe space. When the local lagoon starts to dry up, they work together to save a little bird who is trapped in the dry bed by calling on their ancestors and working together. You can also look for the Spanish edition, Peques Rebeldes, which will be publishing simultaneously.
Next up, we have Night Flight by David Barclay Moore and illustrated by Brianna Mukudiri Uchandu. Get ready for a stunning new picture book from an award-winning duo, David Barclay Moore, author of Toyogi, and Brianna Mukudiri Uchandu, last year's John Steptoe award-winning illustrator. In luminous poetic prose, Moore weaves a tender dreamscape of longing, adventure, and love. Uchandu's breathtaking art brings to life a magical night filled with flight, wonder, and the deep pull of home. This is a heartfelt, imaginative journey that celebrates family, belonging, and the quiet power of dreams. And next we have Oh Dear, Look What I Got by Michael Rosen, illustrated by Helen Oxenbury. I went to the shop to get me a carrot. Oh dear, they gave me a parrot. We are thrilled to share a rare new collaboration from the ultimate duo behind Campbell Wick's classic We're Going on a Bear Hunt, Michael Rosen and Helen Oxenbury. This read-aloud comedy of hilarious misunderstandings follows a helpless boy whose simple shopping trip turns into a delightful animal parade. With Rosen's playful rhymes and Oxenbury's irresistibly expressive art, every page turn brings fresh surprises and laughter. Get ready for a timeless picture book that's sure to become a repeat read favorite. And then we have On Our Way with Mr. J by Chelsea Lynn Wallace, illustrated by Tara Hayter. Get ready to cheer for the ultimate school hero in On Our Way with Mr. J, a fun read-aloud full of rhyme, humor, and heart. With rhythmic text and Tara Hayter's engaging illustrations, this story follows the bus driver as he tackles every challenge to get his students to school on time. Chelsea Lee Wallace highlights the teamwork and spirit that makes schools run every day. Perfect for Teacher Appreciation Day, School Bus Driver Appreciation, Back to School, or End of Year Celebration. This is a story kids will want to hear again and again.
And next up, we have Eric Velasquez, who is the author and illustrator of the Bank Street Best Book of the Year, Octopus Stew, and the illustrator of the award-winning picture book biography written by Carol Boston Weatherford, Schomburg. In this new piece, The Polar Bear and the Ballerina, he brings a dreamlike magic to an almost wordless tale of empathy and kindred spirits. A ballerina visits the Central Park Zoo for a photo shoot with her company, and she and a polar bear form an unexpected friendship. The polar bear has always dreamed of attending the ballet, so he of course attempts to return her lost scarf, but then he is met with judgmental stares and suspicion. When the ushers won't let him inside, the ballerina comes to his rescue and welcomes him in. You won't want to miss this heartfelt story told in detailed oil paintings. And next, we have beloved author and illustrator Will Hillenbrand, who is back with 2 more picture book wonders, including another Bear and Mole story, Summer is Here. If you're like me and Bear and Mole, you can't wait for it to finally be summer. Warm weather, cold drinks, and baseball. This series is the perfect choice for storytime sharing or reading aloud. Plus, this September, you can look for a companion to Will Hillenbrand's The Voice in the Hollow with his new picture book, The Winding Willow. The brave mouse, Hubert Cumberbund, is on a fantastical journey when he finds a mysterious tree filled with treasures. Sparse text and beautiful artwork combine to create a timeless tale sure to warm families' hearts on even the coldest winter nights. And now for some nonfiction. The Navajos is from award-winning author Virginia Driving Hawk Snavy, who grew up on the Rosebud Sioux Reservation and is an enrolled member of the Rosebud Sioux tribe. She has brought the history of Native American culture to children for over 40 years as both a teacher and author. In a new and updated edition, illustrated by Ronald Himmler and expertly reviewed by a member of the Navajo tribe, Driving Hawk Snavy introduces young readers to the Navajo Nation in both the past and the present. Learn about the Navajos' creation story, resistance, and resilience against Spanish colonizers, forked stick Hogan homes, and sand paintings, and more.
Hi, I'm Ann Urza Leggett, and I'm the Educational Marketing Manager. He's done it for Muhammad Ali, the NBA, the WNBA, men's and women's soccer, and now the NCTE Award for Excellence in Poetry for Children 2025 recipient, Charles R. Smith, brings his talent for sports poetry in many forms to honor stars from the Negro Leagues and Black Diamond Kings. Ladies and gentlemen, the man you came to see, strolling onto the field cool and confidently. Satchel Paige and the 11 other Baseball Hall of Fame players featured changed the trajectory of baseball forever with their incredible versatility in both skill and athleticism. Back matter present player notes and more context about the Negro Leagues. The Blue Jays That Grew a Forest by Lynn Street, illustrated by Ann Hunter, is a beautiful illustration of mutualism, the symbiotic relationship between two species that benefits each of them. This book is a poetic account of how and why blue jays spread acorns and assist in the expansion of oak tree forests and why that is important. Filled with facts such as that blue jays have a specially developed pouch in their throats that allow them to carry several acorns at a time. There is also extensive back matter about blue jays, oak trees, and forests. In Fantastic Flora, you'll unearth some of the amazing adaptations that help plants to thrive. Seeds that explode, leaves that look like stones, berries so deadly that swallowing just a few will stop your heart. Plant that eats meat, and another that pretends to be meat. The science of plant survival is engagingly narrated with lush illustrations and fascinating facts about how plants flourish, even in the most extreme environments on Earth. Back matter includes a glossary, source notes, an index, and select bibliography.
And next up, we have Hurricane. Jason Chin is back with another nonfiction illustrated beautifully, this time about the power of a hurricane. The winner of the Caldecott Medal for Watercress, written by Andrea Wang, and this year's Cyber Medal for Life After Whale, written by Lynn Bruneau, has now created a fascinating, breathtaking, gripping picture book for readers of all ages. In his newest masterwork, Hurricane, with 2-star reviews to date, Jason charts the thrilling saga of an island community's brush with a Category 3 hurricane and the cutting-edge science that helps them to prepare. The story begins on a beautiful day on Hatteras Island, but soon a hurricane is barreling across the Atlantic. Chin shows how everyone must prepare, from the meteorologists in the National Hurricane Center who are tracking the storm, to the families who must board up windows and gather supplies to prepare to weather the storm, and to brave pilots who fly directly into the storm to gather crucial data. Chin's illustrations are once again so gorgeous and realistic. A starred review from Publishers Weekly describes how he depicts sweeping, high-altitude images of a whirling hurricane forming over the Atlantic. Facts at the back of the book provide more information about hurricanes and the effects of climate change. Hurricane just went on sale this Tuesday, so you can find it now.
The Books for a Better Earth collection is designed to inspire young people to become active, knowledgeable participants in caring for the planet they live on. Focusing on solutions to climate change issues, these books look at how scientists, activists, and young leaders are working to safeguard Earth's future. Here's a look at the 3 stellar sustainability titles, as well as 2 paperback favorites coming to you this summer and fall. And we are so happy to be publishing an assortment of new titles on Espanol this summer and fall, featured on this slide, including books published simultaneously in English and Spanish, and old favorites that are releasing in Spanish for the first time. You can find the full list of the curated Spanish language titles on our website, and the links are in the chat. Explore the world with these reprints and new and updated editions of Gail Gibbons classics. With hundreds of thousands of books sold, non-fiction master Gail Gibbons' signature simple text, and striking illustrations celebrate the majestic power of our planet and continue her tradition of bringing science to curious children.
And now for some early readers and chapter books. When King visits the new doggy daycare, he meets lots of new friends, including Houdini, who claims he can escape any situation. King vows to keep an eye on Houdini, but the next thing you know, he's vanished. Book 11 in the acclaimed 2-time Geisel Honor-winning King and Kayla series from Dory Hillestad Butler and Nancy Myers is the perfect transition book for newly independent readers seeking a bit of a challenge. With simple text, gentle visual humor, and clues aplenty, this best buddy detective duo perfectly models the analytical skills and instincts that will inspire young readers to become backyard detectives themselves. Last spring, we left Lone Wolf luxuriously by himself in a classroom with no students and a home with no pets in Kia Thomas and K. Steele's chronically cynical Lone Wolf Goes to School and Lone Wolf Gets a Pet. Now our anti-hero faces 2 brand new, extra crowded challenges in Lone Wolf Goes to the Library and Lone Wolf on Vacation. This hilariously sarcastic early reader series, dubbed a charmer that's sure to garner its protagonist a devoted following, much to his chagrin, in a starred review from Kirkus Reviews, is perfect for readers who have had enough of the buddy duos. And I don't know about you, but it's book 5, and I still can't get enough of beloved best friends Bear and Bird, this time starring in The Cave and Other Stories. Bear and Bird may not always understand each other, but they both want nothing more than for their best friend to be happy. So when they each find today's date circled in red, they obviously assume it's the other one's birthday. Meanwhile, Snail dons his party hat and waits for someone to notice. Jarvis's subtle humor and sweet illustrations create a charming world that young readers are eager to come back to. These books are just begging to become storytime classics.
Also, a perfect book for story time are our I Like to Read books. You already know and love our award-winning I Like to Read series for emerging readers. These picture books by renowned and beloved artists have been evaluated and assigned guided reading levels A through G based on the Fountas and Pinnell system, and they feature short texts, familiar vocabulary, repetition to reinforce learning, and illustrations that are designed to be a part of the learning experience. In I Like Hoops, the game is tied. Can we win? Find out in I Like Hoops by Jawanda G. Ford, Jada Jenny Bennett, and with illustrations by her. It is perfect for kindergartners and first graders who love basketball. Learning how to read should be a walk in the dog park. Follow 4 curious canines on letter replacement adventures in this phonics-based early reader series, The Letter Setters in Bop, which is a starter from Theodore Seuss Geisel medalist Ethan Long. I Dance by Diana Ranola is perfect for young readers who love to dance. Christina Almeida's charming pictures from Illustrator show dancers in authentic poses and beautiful costumes from traditional Philippine folk dances. And finally, Just One Owl. In this sweet story from author Carolyn Crimmy, Owl searches the forest for a friend, but when an unlikely prospect shares its tree, Owl discovers his perfect companion, a bat, with endearing, kid-friendly illustrations by Janie Bynum that children will love.
I like to read comics instill confidence and the joy of reading in new readers. Created by award-winning artists as well as talented newcomers, these imaginative books support beginning readers' comprehension with extensive visual support. Here are 4 great new I like to read comic titles to expand your collections. In a collection of stories, we see Biddy and Bub turn friendships' ups and downs into playful comedies. Emerging readers will love the silly punchline that finishes each story and feel confident reading this simple, decodable text on their own. In Duck and Cat Ride the Riverboat, Cat overcomes his hatred of water to go on a riverboat ride with his friend Duck. But he does not ignore the fact that the other passengers on board are a family of hungry crocodiles. When dinner is canceled, the duo must spring into action to make sure they don't end up on the menu instead. In Pickle on Wheels, Pickle's favorite superhero makes rescues on roller skates. But if you're going to learn to skate, maybe you shouldn't try it on a big hill. Fortunately, Pickle has a friend to encourage and help him learn to skate himself, and he is quick to pass that on to another friend. Kids will love this funny story, and I love it for the way it demonstrates helping one another, practice, and writing thank you notes. If you haven't already read about Pickle's search for the just right new car, you can in the paperback edition of A New Car for Pickle. And in Tate Tuber Space Spud, Tate Tuber is no couch potato. He is going to be an astronaut. When he learns that the human astronauts want him to be used in a space farming experiment, he's very disappointed. But when the space station loses power and begins hurtling back towards Earth, it's up to Tate to save the day with his ability to conduct electricity. Back matter includes science facts about how potatoes really do conduct electricity, about growing veggies in space, and more. Yes, even in comics, there's still great back matter.
And if you're looking for comics and graphic novels for older readers, we've got just the thing with some funny and really inventive stories that will pop on your shelf. Sometimes when it rains, it really, really pours, even for everyone's favorite overeager amateur detective, Casey. Casey has a lot on her plate, campaigning for 5th grade class president, finding the perfect home for Miss Muffin's 7 kittens, and getting the guts to ask AJ to the dance. But just when everything seems to be coming together, it all falls apart, of course. Can Detective Casey figure out the case of everything is terrible, or is this the one mystery without a solution? I can't help but laugh my way through book 2 of this hilarious young graphic novel series from Kay Healy, perfect for fans of A Wimpy Kid and Amelia Bedelia. Born into a family of vampires, cheerful Ivan is the black sheep. He loves sunshine, his best friends are human, and he can't stomach the thought of eating meat. So when Ivan's vampire fangs come in on his first day of 8th grade, he's determined to keep them a secret. But keeping his secret gets much harder when Ivan is assigned a handsome new lab partner, transfer student Damien. Fans of fake blood will sink their teeth into this graphic novel that's perfect for readers navigating the first perils of middle school where, as we all know, having a crush is probably the worst thing that can happen to you. Featuring LGBTQ+ characters and a unique homespun art style, Marker Snyder's debut is fantastic.
New from MIT Kids Press, Maker Girl and Professor Smarts are the newest superheroes of New Bork City. So what if they didn't actually receive superpowers when that comet hit Earth a few months back and created a bunch of other superheroes and supervillains? Maker Girl can make just about anything, and Professor Smarts is the sharpest kid on the block. They're more than a match for villainous Mr. Antifreeze, who's bent on ruining the town's ice cream by turning it all into slime. Jasmine Florentine holds a master's in mechanical engineering from MIT and works as an engineer and artist for FIRST, a nonprofit that runs robotic competitions to inspire students to pursue STEM. Her passion for encouraging STEM readers is unmatched and comes through just beautifully in this stunning graphic novel that includes opportunities for readers to get in on the action by making their own super creations, from a toilet paper roll grappling hook to some delicious sorbet.
I'm excited to introduce you for the first time ever to Pumpkin and Beetle, 2 vampire cats. This spooktastic series launched by Janie Ho is packed with perfect Halloween cuteness, including a map of the cozy Hallowsville, crabapple capers, muffin recipes, and obsessively adorable illustrations. Hand this one to cat lovers and kids who love the haunted holidays, and they will surely want to pounce straight into the pages. Now, buckle in tight and get ready for some mayhem. When Sidney Poblocki runs away from his troubled home life, he's jumping out of the frying pan and into the fire. Why are interdimensional assassins after him along with every other kid named Sidney Poblocki throughout the multiverse? And what the heck is the deal with Rodeo Hawkins and her ragtag game of mischief-making girls, the Daughters of Mayhem? These are all questions that can be answered when you read this irreverently funny middle grade series starter from author-educator Jean-Claude Bamy, who received the Excellence in Teaching Award from UNC Chapel Hill's School of Education and Eisner Award-nominated illustrator Nicole Miles. Out of this world and off the wall, this standout in the graphic novel category is sure to elicit laughter from even the most reluctant readers.
Amazing. And now we're on to middle grade. Donatella Hamachi and the Library Avengers is a fun read for everyone, but especially for our librarians who are here today. This middle grade novel is written by one of the stars of RuPaul's Drag Race, Kim Chi, along with Stephen Lee, the acclaimed author of the K-pop Confidential books. Jae Han is a 12-year-old Korean immigrant whose safe space is, where else, the library. He enjoys befriending fellow outcasts he meets there and working on his comic book about the sparkling superhero, Donatella Hamachi. But when Jae Han learns about a funding deficit that threatens the library, not to mention the mayor's plans to demolish the building, he and his friends must work together to foil the plans of destruction. Can they, with the help from the amazing Donatella Hamachi, unite long enough to defeat the slime-shooting blobfish enveloping screaming citizens in goo? Which really means, can they ace a fundraising campaign? The book is perfect for superhero fans, comic creators, and anyone who feels at home in a library.
When the first edition of The Fault Lines in the Constitution hit shelves, it was named a Eureka Nonfiction Children's Book Award honor, an ALSC Notable Children's Book, an NSTA CBC Notable Social Studies Trade Book for Young People, and an Orbis Pictus Recommended Book. Written by award-winning middle grade author Cynthia Levinson and constitutional law scholar Sanford Levinson, this new edition has been revised to reflect political and social changes leading up to and following the 2024 national election. This new edition will include updated content throughout, 2 new chapters on impeachment and secession, and significant expansion of the chapters on emergency powers and term limits. As up-to-date as Cory Booker's record-breaking 25-hour speech, Strom Thurmond held the record before, this is a crucial and timely read for folks who hope to make learning about the way our government functions and the history of politics is essential in classrooms.
Perfect for fans of realistic fiction with a touch of mystery and humor, Geo's Fortune by Amy B. Mucka is a smart, engaging middle grade novel about friendship, belief, and the unexpected power of intuition. 13-year-old Geo starts a fake fortune-telling business as a summer hustle, only to be shocked when her made-up prediction starts coming true. As her fame grows, Geo is forced to question what she believes is real and what she's willing to risk to keep her friendship intact. With its fresh voice and thoughtful exploration of skepticism versus belief, this is a great pick for classroom discussions and library book clubs alike. Next, we have Graciela in the Abyss by Meg Medina. We are so thrilled to share this new title from immediate past National Ambassador for Young People's Literature and Newbery medalist of Mercy Suarez Changes Gears, Meg Medina. Meg makes her stunning foray into middle grade fantasy with this unforgettable novel set in the deep ocean where sea ghost Graciela and a mortal boy, Jorge, must join forces to stop a dangerous enchanted harpoon from wreaking havoc. Graciela, who has lived at the bottom of the ocean for over a century, helps welcome a newly awakened sea ghost, while Jorge discovers the harpoon's destructive powers and fears its potential. Together, they must set aside their differences to save both the living and the dead in an adventure full of magic, courage, and high stakes, with stunning illustrations by Anna and Elena Valduso. This captivating tale explores themes of friendship, sacrifice, and the power that lies both within us and in the world around us, leaving readers eagerly immersed in Meg Medina's extraordinary new world. Into the Wild Magic by Michelle Nipson. From New York Times bestselling author Michelle Nipson comes a captivating fantasy about friendship, trust, and discovering your own strength. 11-year-old Bevy's life is turned upside down when she's pulled into a magical world teeming with unicorns, sorcerers, and dragons. As she navigates the challenges of her new role in a war between dark sorcerers and those who wield wild magic, Bevy must learn to trust both her new friend Kat and herself. With a rich world building, this adventure explores the power of bravery, magic, and true friendship.
Hi, sorry. So, Lost Evangeline is, of course, the final book in the trilogy of the Norendi Tales from Kate DiCamillo, and this one is amazingly illustrated with artwork from none other than two-time Caldecott medalist Sophie Blackall. Of course, Kate and Sophie have previously worked together on the New York Times bestseller, The Beatrice Prophecy. A shoemaker discovers a tiny girl, as small as a mouse, in his shop and takes her in, names her Evangeline, and raises her as his own until his wife gets rid of her because she believes Evangeline has bewitched her husband. When Evangeline becomes lost in the wide world, she gets help from unique characters with that classic DiCamillo charm, including a disdainful and self-satisfied cat. But by the end, Evangeline has braved a difficult journey, and the story ends on a hopeful note.
Two very large things have just happened to Piccolo Piccolo Zampa. First, she's discovered a plot to ruin her favorite swimming hole and replace it with a golf course. Second, a wasp sting has given her the superpower to understand the truth behind what people say. Caldecott medalist Chris Rashka proves as deft with a pen as paintbrush in his middle grade debut, a sizzlingly witty tale of extraordinary wasp perception, oyster-slinging bank robbers, and a community standing strong against the forces of greed and real estate. Illustrations sprinkled throughout paint a small town entirely unique and yet all too familiar to readers across the U.S. Readers of all ages won't want to miss the next train to the big-hearted, peculiar, one-of-a-kind town of 4 words. This book reminds me of myself as a middle grader looking for books that were just one step outside of the real world. It's witty, thoughtful, and incessantly quirky. Have you ever had to make a decision, a really hard decision, a decision that would change the course of your life from that moment on? There were so many things Edwin Hodge didn't know when he paid $10 for a cool poster of Kobe Bryant at the local flea market. He didn't know that hidden within the frame of the poster was an original drawing by Pablo Picasso, one of the most famous artists in history. The Picasso Curse is a gripping adventure, a blend of fact and fiction from Dan Gutman, the famed author of the My Weird School series, who says, "I want my readers to think that reading my books is like watching a movie, one where you never know what's going to happen next."
And finally, we have The Winter of the Dollhouse by Laura Amy Schlitz. She, of course, is the accomplished author of many historical fiction books for young readers, including the Newbery-winning verse novel Good Masters, Sweet Ladies. And now she brings those talents to the present. It is a gloomy night in November when 11-year-old Tiffany Stokes saves an elderly lady from collapsing in the street, while an antique doll named Gretel watches them. Though none of these characters realize it, their worlds are about to change. Gretel will no longer be a prisoner, the old lady might be a witch and will discover the secret hidden in her long-neglected dollhouse, and Tiff, whose parents rejoice that she is never any trouble, will suddenly become more trouble.
And to wrap up our middle grade presentations for the day, we have a smattering of spectacular series starters launching in the coming months from Pixel and Ink, the imprint devoted exclusively to series. With few friends at his school, Geo Barker is stuck hanging around his mom's new doggy daycare. Then one day he mistakes a dog biscuit for a human cookie, which I actually have done before, and suddenly he can talk to the dogs. Barker's Doghouse, Fetch, by Maria B. Alfano and illustrated by Laura Catalan, is the first book in the charming and funny series perfect for fans of New Kid and The Secret Life of Pets. Every cast depends on its stage crew, but what happens when they absolutely hate each other? Lifelong theater geek Lindsay Champion brings you cast versus crew setting the stage, their dramatic first act in a behind-the-scenes trilogy that puts the backstage crew of a junior high school musical center stage. In Famous Anonymous by Morgan Baden, neighborhood friends find sudden fame with a series of viral videos, only no one knows who they really are, not even their parents. It's Hannah Montana for the TikTok generation. Calling all Minecraft, Roblox, and esports lovers. With non-stop in-game action, Gamers One, A Tempting Connection from the New York Times and USA Today bestselling author E.C. Myers captures all the adrenaline of esports gaming, plus its fierce power to bring people together. And finally, don't miss these mystery-filled next in series. Twins Ike and Iris embark on a quest to recover pieces of the Statue of Liberty and Matthew Landis's National Archive Hunter's Eternal Flame, while sisters Lark and Pip must seek out Cassandra's sunken bronze statue and Michael D. Beale's third and final installment of the Swallowtail Legacy, The Search for the Sunken Statue.
Thank you, Saskia. We have so many incredible young adult books coming to you this summer and fall. So many, in fact, that we've decided to give them their very own preview. Join us and author guest speakers Carolyn O'Donoghue, Crystal Maldonado, and Alex Crespo on Thursday, July 10th for an inside peek into their process and new books. To whet your appetite, though, before that preview, here are a few little tidbits. Best-selling author Carolyn O'Donoghue's Skip Shock is set in a universe where time is key to power and privilege. This dazzlingly inventive, genre-defying fantasy romance is the first in a duology. An utterly original epic, this must-read will be published by Candlewick Press's Walker Books US in June. And I just met Carolyn for the first time. She was in our offices earlier in the week, and she is just incredible. You're going to love this one. Next, Get Real Chloe Torres is a JLG Gold Standard selection, a sizzling summer adventure from YA star Crystal Maldonado. It's an hilarious and heartfelt rom-com with a little something for everyone. Fat positivity, sapphic romance, a blazing love triangle, ADHD representation, a diversity of Latinx identities, a once-in-a-lifetime road trip. It's the perfect, and it has the perfect finally happening kiss. It is on, it is on sale next week from Holiday House. A Feast for the Eyes is A Feast for the Eyes is Saw-Killed Girls Meet Twin Peaks. Here, 4 teens must track down a local cryptid that's feeding off secrets before their own hidden truths are exposed. Eerily atmospheric and as piercing as a pair of eyes on the back of your head, Alex Crespo's LGBTQ plus supernatural thriller is a poignant story about the prices we pay to keep our secrets hidden, sometimes for good reason. Though creeping tension and mounting horror, readers will furiously turn the pages with their breaths held. It's coming from Peachtree Teen in October. Here are some more of our upcoming YAs that you won't want to miss. Please feel free to scan the QR code to sign up for our e-newsletters and get notified when registration opens. We are now delighted to introduce our guest speaker who will cap off our presentation today. The winner of the Hans Christian Andersen Award 2024, Sydney Smith. Sydney is here to share his insights about Island Storm, the thrilling picture book penned by Caldecott medalist Brian Floca with spectacular illustrations crafted by Sydney. These two masters have created a multi-sensory experience in Island Storm, in which young readers will experience the sheer power of a violent thunderstorm and the calm of its aftermath. This Junior Library Guild Gold Standard selection has been called thrilling and dynamic in a publisher's weekly starred review, and a phenomenal tale of pushing limits in a starred review from Kirkus. Now, without further ado, Sydney Smith.
Hello, thank you for having me. I just wanted to say that was I mean, you basically said everything I was going to say about this book. And if you go to these two reviews that we've received, they really articulated everything about the book and more. It was a very fulfilling journey for me to work on this book. This book, Island Storm, it's about the journey of these two siblings as they venture off to see the sea before the storm. I'm not sure, do we have any slides here to share? Oh, there we go. Look at that.
It looks like we do.
Great. I'm not in control of these, but I'll just tell you to like skip ahead every couple seconds. I'm not going to follow along, but you can go ahead and switch the slides as you feel like you need to. But there they are, the two siblings. They're actually based on my two children. I wanted to include them in a book, and it's about them and their relationship. I mean, from my point of view as the illustrator, I wanted them to see themselves in the book. But this book started as a collaboration with Brian Floca after I visited him in his studio in New York, and we spent hours talking about picture books, and it occurred to him that maybe we should collaborate and partner up on this book. So this book starts with these two kids that are looking out the window and are seeing, they're watching the weather kind of build. And already you can see with the illustrations, I'm trying to be a little bit more expressionistic and capture the movement and the power of the weather, hopefully piquing the interest of the reader as well as the characters as they get ready to leave. And you follow them as they leave, and they venture off down the road from their house to go see the sea before the storm. And I'm from the east coast of Canada, and so I know what it's like to see the sea before the storm, and it's pretty powerful to stand there and be witness to this incredible force of nature. The waves are huge and constant and deafening. So I completely relate to these characters, but also I think it's very important that this book, showing to children, exploring their own limitations and actually going too far, you see that they go off, and their curiosity leads them to explore and to follow, to egg each other on, really, and push each other to go further and further. And it's really a wonderful device of Brian's in his writing. Not only is he an amazing artist, visual artist, but he can really craft quite an image with his text. So beautiful and poetic and descriptive. So for me, what was my job when he was so descriptive with his language? It gave me an opportunity, as you can see, to really play a lot more. And play is such an important part of my practice these days, because I feel like the more fun that you have when you create something, the more fun that readers get when they experience your story, and it's really translated. It comes through in the work. And I think that's true with every piece of art. You can feel the excitement. And also playing with the page turns, as you can see, those past this one and the one before, those are two sequential images. As you turn the page, you feel the spray of the waves come up. You're seeing through the eyes of these characters. And perspective is a very important thing for me as well, that you feel like you are the character standing there. You're not seeing them from a distance, but you're actually seeing through their eyes. I feel like it's a much more immersive experience. This is an example of a few of the spreads within the book where you actually see the characters all traveling from one one side of the book to the other. You can follow them going from left to right on these long strips. I felt like it really gave it this feeling of traveling as these two characters traverse the pages themselves. When they actually reach to the point where they've gone too far and they're lost in the storm and the chaos, you can see that they go back. They go from right to left until they reach their home. But yeah, I mentioned my children, but also a lot of these places, because I wasn't able to go to Peaks Island, unfortunately, where Brian had originally conceived of this story. I based it on my own home in Halifax, Nova Scotia, because actually it looks quite similar. You're very close to the ocean. It's a lot of small homes, older homes. So much of the book is actually sourced from my own neighborhood as well as my own children. And the woods, obviously, definitely something I experienced a lot when I was growing up with an older brother myself. He would lead me into the woods on these adventures, and we would get lost all the time, constantly getting lost. But I knew that I was safe because I had him. And I think this is the most important thing about this book, is that it's to really just to kind of communicate that, as you know, it's important that we know that we're safe because we have each other. It's about this trust and faith in our family and our siblings. And as long as we have each other, we're going to be okay. And as this, you know, there's a real peril. The feeling of peril in this book was really important for me, to feel like, as you're reading it, these characters are not in mortal danger, but it feels very, very exciting and almost scary. So you follow them and you feel the fear that they feel. Again, looking and experiencing it through their perspective. It was also very important for me to include the mother in this, because as a parent myself, I know how tortured I'd be if I knew that my own kids were lost out in a storm and I didn't know where they were. It didn't seem realistic for me. And if I know that parents are going to be reading this to their kids, and they'll probably say something like, "Now, don't you ever do something like this." But then they'll be able to recognize, parents too will be able to recognize themselves in this, not only as the children, as the characters that you follow, but also as the parent themselves, and to show the kids that, of course, this is how parents will react. They'll be concerned, but you're safe, you're home, and it's with a hug that it feels like you're warm, and the dangers are over. And from the perspective of inside the house, you get to watch the storm. And again, I'm really pushing for these kind of expressionistic, playful, mixing mediums. I really wanted to get the feel for some of this. That one especially is one of my favorites, and it leads to the sun rising in the morning. It's one of my favorites. Again, with the page turn. There it is, right there. The page turn, and you see the sun rising, and the clouds, the storm almost melting away into the sky. That was extremely fun. But I guess to summarize everything, that there you go. There's the final. And this is actually, I like to think of this as through the perspective of the mother. Now that she's in the story, after she hugs them and knows that they're safe, she's watching them and realizing that they are safe, that she doesn't have to worry about them because they have each other. And that's such a beautiful sentiment that I have for my own children, or I want to have for my own children. And I know that I have with my own siblings, that we are looking after each other, and that no matter what, I know that I have them to care for me, and I will always care for them. So this is essentially, for me, what this book is really about. And that's it.
Sydney, thank you so much. That was beautiful, wonderful. We're glad you had such fun in creating this truly spectacular artwork that pairs beautifully with Brian's text. Thank you for sharing your children, your home, and what a beautiful sentiment looking out for each other. I think that's something that
Yeah.
we all need today. And the book is just coming at the perfect time. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I would like to thank everyone again for joining us today. We've had such fun introducing our upcoming books. We're thrilled that you've had a chance to hear directly from our amazing authors and illustrators. Again, we invite you to peruse the full Candlewick, Holiday House, and Peachtree lists on Edelweiss. Be sure to grab a virtual goodie bag and check out our lookbook videos on your way out. We've dropped the link into the chat for your convenience. And we always like to hear from you. So feel free to reach out to Dana or Saskia, whose emails are up on the screen, or any of us on the school and library team. I want to give a special thank you to Dana, Sawako, Saskia, and Anne for your thoughtful presentations today. Thank you too to our intrepid Theo, who is behind this the scenes running the presentation. You all have done an amazing job, and I am so proud to be part of this team. So thank you all. We do look forward to seeing everyone in person at the upcoming ALA convention in Philadelphia next month. We are having our Friday reception. As always, invitations have gone out, but if for any reason there was a glitch and you didn't get yours, please email Saskia or me directly if you have my email address. Be sure to follow us on social media and to sign up for our e-newsletters and e-blasts if you haven't already.